folks. Back for another one. Past, present, future. Smitty, LJ, Stevie, Knicks Anonymous. You already know, man. My guy's holding it down in Australia, doing what he do. Yo, before I even introduce myself, because you know I am Trippy OG or Dope the Phenom, whichever you prefer. Smitty, let us know a little bit more about the pod that you actually, what is it, co-produce? If I'm saying it right,
executive producer. You know the
there
vibe.
you go. There you go. Let them know. Let them know.
We're on Hoops Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hoops_podcast or Hoops Podcast Oz. Just a couple guys here that I work with, and we're one of the biggest in Australia. So tune in. We got more.
Make sure y'all do that. And y'all already know LJ, Stevie, Knicks Anonymous. Make sure y'all tune in. New episodes every Monday. And me, of course, Mr. Nick and 30, drop pods every Friday. So we lit. But let's get straight into it. We're going to roll through this episode. Like you said, LJ, and we're going to start with you. How do you feel about this Grizzly game?
I'm not too butthurt about it. Like everybody was. Like, I understand we like want the Knicks to like, you know, obviously be at the top of their game all the time. And, you know, the Grizzlies is they're third in the West. You know, they are cooking there. They are a team that has their shit together. And we are a team that is discombobulated. So not to say it's only right that we lose, but you know, the way that we were playing, it didn't feel like we were losing by that much. By the way we were in this game, we actually played a lot better in a sense than most of the games we played, even though it was because I would look at the score, I'm like, yo, we're down 14 because like we're down 5 by with the energy they're playing. And I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but like I saw this in the game, and I haven't saw a post about it. When we were down 5, I think when someone hit I don't know who hit the 3. Someone hit the 3. We were down like 5. And they were gonna get the turnover. And it had gotten to somebody, and then they passed it to the corner, and then they shot the open 3. And after that 3, it was pretty much it. What happened was RJ hit it with his foot. They got the steal. Grimes tipped the ball, and it hit off of RJ's foot. And it hit off of RJ's foot, went to the offensive guy, and the offensive guy passed it to the corner, and they hit that open 3. After that, it was done. So there was a lot of stuff that were kind of out of our control that happened that game.
Yeah,
that just like one thing that pissed me off the most though was the 50-50 balls. The amount of times they got open shots due to the fact they just got out hustled was annoying. It was really, really annoying. That was the only thing that blew my mind about that game. Other than that, the hustle, the energy. I mean, how much? I don't know how much Fournier had. I'm pretty sure. I think he had a pretty good game.
He had like 30.
Yeah, you know, everybody. You know,
28 killed.
So it wasn't. You know, it was just we played against a good team. You know, this is what happens when you make mistakes against a great team. They're going to punish you every chance they get. They punished us every 50-50 ball they had. They punished every offensive rebound, every turnover. They punished us on everything. And that's to be expected against a third team in the West. So I'm not that mad about it. Like everyone was like, oh, like, I'm not even going to say nothing. I'm like, you know, it's the Grizzlies. You know what I mean? Like we already know we have our problems. You know, they have their stuff together. You know, I have a feeling they might go far in the playoffs this year, to be honest, the Grizzlies. They got what it takes, to be honest. The Junior, what's his name?
Aaron Jackson.
He is the perfect epitome of a stretch 5. That guy is a perfect stretch 5. His game is beautiful. He has his jump shot's a little ugly, can't even lie, but he puts it in the basket. So his game is on point. Like to be honest, I wish Mitch was like, no disrespect to Mitch, because Mitch is a beast. He's going crazy right now. But if Mitch had some type of jump shot like Junior did, he would be just like him.
Definitely.
So my opinion, I think we did pretty good, even though we lost. It was better than most games we've played. Even the ones that we have won, to be honest. Because some games we won, we just won by the skin of our teeth pretty much. And like, you know, just by luck.
Yeah,
so I think we did pretty good.
That's a fact. So now my question to you, Stevie, is who lost us this game?
Oh boy.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, or not? Stop. But come on.
Of course.
Who lost us this game?
It's not one person's fault in particular, but I will tell you what the turning point to me was. And I'm not going to put it on him, but when Quickly scored the 7
I'm
straight.
gonna put it on him.
I mean, okay, you know what? We'll do it. You know, I guess I was being biased because I'm a big fan, but
We got to point the finger at somebody, bro.
yeah, man.
Nah, we don't gotta do that. It's the facts. Like,
Nah,
you
yeah.
explain it, bro. Explain what happened.
Bro, when he scored 7 straight points and we took it looked like we were about to take the momentum, and then he turned it over 2 straight times, which they scored on each turnover, that's when I knew it was over. That that was the turning point to me. But as far as I agree with LJ. We didn't play that bad of a game. They were just a better team than us. I like that RJ was guarding Morant, and I like the job that Quentin Grimes did on him as well. We got to give him that.
Yeah. That's a tough assignment, bro, for anybody in the league. John Morant's a beast.
Matter of fact, not for nothing, I had a parlay that I bet John Morant would score over 25 points. Quentin Grimes messed that up for me. So shout out to Quentin Grimes for that.
It's like,
You know what I mean? I'm mad at him, but I like that he played good defense. I give him that.
Yeah, it was good.
That's a big fact. So my question to you, Smitty, how do you feel about the let me see, the rising trade value of Alex Burks? And this is a two-sided question for you. How you feel about the rising trade, value of Alex Burks? And how do you feel about Kemba being scoreless in the last 8 quarters?
Kemba.
Yeah, that's a tough one. He's playing again. First, I'll go with Kemba. He's playing again like he did at the start of the season, which I'd said, and a few Knicks fans had said he wasn't attacking enough, wasn't breaking down defenses. So he's gone back to that, and I think that's disinterest now. I think he's checked out of New York. I think that he knows that that's happening. And yeah, then in terms of Burks though, I think that's all it is for Kemba, man. He's just disinterested. But in terms of Burks, I think he's had some good moments. He comes in, especially yesterday, which it sort of was confusing because he was attacking the paint and getting to the line every time, and straight off the bench. And I know people are like, oh, don't have him in. He's not a PG, but he was going straight to the line every time. No doubt. And they were playing lazy defense at first, especially that first half. Grizzlies. So yeah, I think his value is going up. Same as Fournier. Whether we trade him or not is another thing. But I think their values both, whether it's to the team or whether it's for a future trade, I think their values both going up. I think the stock's on the rise.
That's a fact. So now this is
especially Fournier.
Yeah, Fournier.
At the moment, especially Fournier.
I had a theory about Fournier, not for nothing, but I'm gonna let you. OG, I'm gonna let you.
What's the theory? Hold up. What's the theory?
So So you, in terms of stocks, right? For any stock trader out there that that messes with stocks, you sell at the highest point pretty much. If you're day trading, you pretty much sell when something is high, and then you take it out and then wait for it to drop, and then you buy in again, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, Fournier is at the top right now. He has had multiple games at this point that he has scored, I think, over 15 points probably. This is probably the best he's been playing in the entire season. Even though we've been losing, he has been playing the best ball he has been playing so far. Mm-hmm. I think now is the time to start talking before he goes into that slump again. So the theory is, I think we should get rid of him. We should start talking really, really fast.
So since we going into that whole route, right? And this is for everybody. We could just throw out names for right now. You don't even got to break anything down, right? I'm gonna say out of these initial people, out of the vets, because the prime thing for us is the vets that we want to trade. We are now going into future talk, right? Out of Randall, Evan, Burks, Noel, you could even throw in Kemba. You can throw in Taj, even if you want, right? Who's the priority person you move at this deadline? Who is the most priority? Give me your top 3.
Kemba, number 1. I got to think about the other 2, though, but Kemba's number 1.
I'm at that point where it's Randall.
I got
that's mine.
That's a perfect world. That's in a perfect world.
Number 1 is Randall, man.
I don't think we're going to move Randall yet. I don't think we're gonna move him at the deadline. I think we're gonna wait to see who else becomes available. Because remember, he's still an all-star. You still gotta, I personally think we should trade him before his value further diminishes, but it's possible we might not trade him at the deadline.
I mean, I understand that.
For that
If it
third-
was me, I don't know, man. I would just say it would have to be Randall. Then after that, we'll go for the line. It would be Kemba and Burks because the way Evan is playing, I don't think they want to lose that firepower just yet. Like you would want to keep that firepower and you could build around it. Like the way Evan is playing, at least, trying to be on the defensive end, be better. At least if you have a defensive sounded guard, or at least a guard that can play some type of defense, you don't have to worry about Evan too much. You know what I'm saying? Now he can do what he do. But with having Kemba there, yeah, that's just not work. That's like playing 3.5 on 5. You feel me? Like it's just not working. It's just not working. But with Randall, he just got to be the one. He got to be the one.
It would also make more sense to get rid of Burks because if we want a guard, Fournier would not fit that description to get like some type of point guard. Because if we're gonna go after someone else's point guard, they're gonna want some type of ball handler back.
That's a fact.
And Fournier is not gonna fit that description.
That is a fact. Who you got?
So-
Yeah, I think we keep Fournier
And
personally.
Trey.
Yeah, I think, man, because look, he's been tossed around. Obviously, he got tossed to Boston last year, spent half a season, then he's coming here. He hasn't really had a chance to settle. I'm a bit of a firm believer in give guys time. I know New York doesn't seem to have the time for that ever in sports. Probably the wrong team to be a fan of when you're talking about that. But no, I think there needs to be a little bit of patience, and I think it's starting to show now. I think he's really starting to show his value because he was always streaky, but he was really good in like when it was him and Vooch at Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
They were dangerous.
Yeah.
Like we used to, when we would
Yeah.
pull up on Orlando, I'm like, it doesn't matter how bad they are, he's going to drop 30 on us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
If you don't have that perimeter defense, which we don't, that's what we've struggled with all season, getting cooked out because no one's rotating out, none of that. And that's what we used to struggle with. And that's the teams that we normally do best against, the teams that don't really have that good perimeter defense or that lack on the night.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you can't sleep on Fournier. He has that ability to cook up.
He's just inconsistent, man. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I was iffy when we signed him. I say this all the time. That's why I like Fournier. He's not a bad player, but I was iffy when we signed him because I knew what we would get. I seen him play in Orlando. You know what I mean? Like he was good, but you know what I mean. He had his bad moments, just like he has here.
Oh, I
But
would have
like-
rather DeRozan than him. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Yeah, that's oh my. But anyways, we're not gonna get into that. Oh, that pisses me off every time I think about it. It is what it is. But my thing is this, right? Even though we have all of these things going on, we have it to where it's like we feel like we're the Rockets right now with their like win-loss record, right? Even though we're not that far off. How do we compare this season to last season, even though we're really like probably like a game and a half back from what we were last year? Like, how do we compare it? Whoever wants to start it off.
I think the main difference between last year and this year is the grit and the grind and the family aspect, like the team aspect. Like last year, you felt the camaraderie. You felt that these guys had each other's back. You know, they were down from the get-go. Their hustle. You could definitely tell they enjoyed working with each other. They pushed each other. You know, it was just the vibe was different. You know, and it could be like puppy love. You know, like at the beginning it's all nice, and then exactly. You know, Stevie, like you know what I mean, like
Puppy love.
you know what I mean, like I think the trades, as much as they were meant to help us, I think it pushed us back. I feel like if we would have, as much as we hated Elfrid Payton, like really think about it, as much as we really hated Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock, they made that difference because those are the only two guys we gave away, and Pinson. Those are the only guys we really gave away.
I don't even think that's the reason, bro. What I think it is we jumped the gun and we shouldn't have gave Randall that bag so early. Right? Because I keep forgetting it was contract year for him. Anybody's gonna ball out, right? That's one.
Steve might have something for that.
Number two, we didn't trust the draft process. If we seen that Obi and IQ turned up last year, the whole point of Tom saying he wanted Deuce and Grimes, they should have been the backcourt off the rip. We should have never even worried about free agency. Free agency,
Wow,
we should have just
agreed.
brought back the main pieces we needed, upgraded in the center position. You get what I'm saying? Like, we should have never brought Noel back. We should have just upgraded with that, brought back the certain pieces we needed when it came to Burks and all that. And then now that kind of would have made everything easier for the Cam trade. But with Cam being here, somebody's still going to go because Leon Rose is definitely putting his foot down. Wants Cam to play. So
as he should, though.
Yeah, but I think that's one thing different from this year that's actually good. So let's talk positive for a second, is the contract status of where we're at, is in having healthy and very movable contracts. No one's on, like, I mean, you could probably argue it's not great right now that we've got Randall locked in, but at the same time, there is still teams out there that he still does have value. I just don't think it's on this team no more. I think he's checked out, and I think there's a lot of weight that comes with playing for this team. But I think our worst contract, and that's only because, you know, hindsight's a beautiful thing, is Noel not being able to get on the pine, on the hardwood. So other than that, I think we're in a good position, like Burks, whoever it is. We signed pretty good contracts. You could argue, some might say the Fournier contract's ugly, but I think he's playing into that now. So, I mean, that's one positive difference from last year. But yeah, as you said, the record's not much different from the same time last year, but it feels 10 games worse.
definitely. Feels like death.
It damn sure does. Like, I'm with y'all. It's the vibe. It's mostly the vibe that's different. Like, I don't think there's dysfunction on the team, aside from Randall, if you want to call that dysfunction. But I would say it's more confusion than dysfunction. You know, because like we had two young guys last year that came into what was a winning situation. Now we got two other young guys coming into a losing situation, and the same two guys from last year is also coming into that situation. So there's an adjustment period there. You know what I mean? Like when you go from like being on top to being on bottom, there's going to be some confusion there. So
I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe we went about free agency wrong.
maybe
We shouldn't have worried about players in particular. First thing we should have did was use some of that money and got us an offensive-minded coach. That's where we messed up at.
To replace Woodson for sure.
like an assistant coach?
No, not to replace, but like what Smitty said, to replace Woodson. You know what I'm saying? Tom doesn't. Yeah, like Tom doesn't really run plays. Like he lets the offense do what they do, right?
It's all on.
That's where we messed up at. Number two, Tom during the season has messed up by never holding Evan or his two top players. He never holds them accountable. Like he in a press conference, you will never see him come at those two players. He will come at everybody else. He may even throw a shot or two at D Rose, but he will never come at Evan or Randall. That has to stop. Number three, this is when I started to see a change. By the front office making the mistakes they've made, I think they came together to understand that once we seen the rising surge of RJ, the way he's at, and he's still remaining at, because he ain't stopped. As you can see, he dropped a clean 23 against Ja. Like, he's still in that range. I think the front office must have told Tom low-key that, yo, we're switching our route, and this is about to be RJ's team. Like, we don't have that much faith in Randall no more because, like I said, you don't go from being most improved player, all-star, second all-NBA to now you're none of those accolades. Like, you just basically proved that you got the bag, and now you can't perform. They even said it time and time again. Tom has told him this play. It's been difficult to get him to play unselfishly, like how he used to do before. You know what I'm saying? Like, Randall feels like because of the contract, he has to put up more numbers. Like, nah, you got the wrong idea over here. Now, the thing that makes everything a little bit bad is Leon Rose and them know they got to fix what they did wrong in free agency. That's why I feel like no matter what, they have to do a trade by this deadline. Like, if they don't, that's a smack in the face to us as Knicks fans. You know you messed up during free agency. You need to at least fix one of these mistakes. Like, if you don't do the long haul with the Randall, you definitely better get Burks and Kemba. If you're going to do that, you better get them two out of here. Because as we've seen in these past couple of games and just recent games, not even the past two, those two are underperforming like hell. Randall's already been doing that, but Randall's still giving you something. Evan has turned it up a notch. He's showing that he wants to still be here. Those two, nah, you might as well. We already called it that, Burks was going to be the journeyman, odd man out. Noel has no value. He's never in the game. So off the rip, that's why I felt like it was smart when the Knicks said, if we got Burks, if y'all want him, y'all have to be able to take an attached player. So the first thing would lead is Burks and Kemba are the first two out of here. And that would go back to a trade that I seen watching some show. I can't remember what it was. And it was for Murray from the Spurs. We gave up 3 first-round picks, Burks and Kemba, and got Murray. And I was all for it. 2 of them that we have and 1 of them from the Dallas pick that Dallas gave us. I would definitely do that to get Murray. I would do it. Because not only do you get that point guard, it gets Burks out the lineup. Automatically, you would have it to where you have your starting 5. But then after that, it's like you still got to make some kind of move because you still want to play Grimes and Cam at the same time. That's why it's like, you got to find a way to get Evan out of here too. Like, sadly. So it's like if you want to really get Cam in there and not lose Grimes, you have to get rid of Burks, Kemba, and you got to get rid of Evan. But in the same token, some way out of that, you got to get a PG in return. And I'm slowly getting on that little wagon. Like, you know what? I think I'll bite my bullet and take either John Wall or Russell Westbrook at this point. I'll take one of them at this point, man. I'm getting on that wagon a little bit. I'm like a midget. Like, look, you see my eye? Like that.
But look at it. This is the best part about this whole situation, man. Like what we're talking about. The fact that we have all these options. This is the best part about all this is that we're not. Yeah, like we're not the Knicks we were. Like we may be bad, but like at least we're bad with options.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, about the
Like,
position we're in isn't as bad as what it probably was last year in contract wise, and where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And we still got young talent too. We
We have a whole bunch of talent on this team, man. We got a whole bunch of guys that can do it. They proved us they can. It's just the chemistry. It's just.
I'm gonna ask you a hypothetical, right? I saw a trade that said we get SGA if we let go of Burks. I think it was Burks, Evan, Mitch, quickly, and like 3 first-round picks. I'm not gonna hold you. If we know we're not going to give Mitchell Robinson that bag on some $80 million, like we're not going to give it to Bronson and quickly been in that slump to get an SGA, nah. Come on, SGA, pull up, bro. I'm not going to hold no disrespect to quickly. I love him, but I'm pulling that trigger real quick. Get me SGA. He's locked in for like the next 5 or 6 years. That's a point guard you have for the next 5 or 6.
Say that trade one more time.
All right, SGA, right? Mitch, Burks, I think it was Evan, quickly, and like 2 or 3 first-round picks just to get SGA.
It's kind of steep.
So he got that. He signed the bag this year.
We don't want no SGA anyway.
I don't know, man. It sounds like a classic Nick move to me a little bit.
Yeah, it's a classic move for a young, promising point guard. I'm all for it.
I can't front.